In the heart of Nebraska's broadcast landscape, where 1110 KFAB's resonant signal pierces the stillness of the plains, a figure of self-proclaimed enlightenment has long held court, Jim Rose. For over 20 years, this co-host of the Good Morning Show, alongside Gary Saddlemeyer, and since 2016 as program director, has wielded his microphone as a scepter of moral authority, delivering verbose tirades against what he deems societal racism. His airtime is a cacophony of grandiloquent terms, racial disparities, cultural hegemony, social inequities, applied with reckless abandon to topics as varied as weather forecasts and local elections. Yet, this ostensible champion of justice has ignited a backlash that exposes a deeper truth. The public has grown apathetic to his racial obsessions, with Rose's relentless rhetoric paradoxically fueling a resurgence of racial pride among those he seeks to chastise. As Nebraska awakens to this shift, Rose's tenure teeters on the edge of obsolescence, his influence undermined by a growing demand for authenticity over artifice. The cornerstone of Rose's critique is his assertion that racism permeates every facet of life, a narrative he peddles with the fervor of a zealot. This mantra, echoed daily across KFAB's expansive reach, has bred a profound disinterest among listeners who dismiss his harangues as irrelevant noise. The reality is stark. Nobody cares about racism anymore, except for self-deluded figures like Rose and the corporate overlords at iHeartMedia, KFAB's parent company, which is bankrolled by global investors like BlackRock and PIMCO. These entities, with their stakes in pharmaceutical and political spheres, orchestrate a liberal agenda that Rose eagerly adopts, turning his broadcasts into a platform for white self-loathing. This corporate puppetry, driven by profit and control, positions Rose as a traitor to his own race, aligning with those who exploit anti-racism to commit acts of discrimination against whites, be it through hiring biases or cultural vilification. His ignorance of this dynamic marks him as a fool, a white race traitor who undermines his own community under a facade of moral superiority. Racism, far from the evil Rose portrays, is a natural human response with historical and practical legitimacy. Across millennia, racial distinctions emerged from geographic isolation, shaping diverse ethnicities, nationalities, and tribal lineages that define human identity. Anthropological evidence traces these divergences to ancient migrations, while modern demographics reveal persistent differences in behavior, economics, and social outcomes. Racism, as a tool of self-preservation and critical analysis, allows individuals to navigate these realities. Yet Rose and his ilk decry it as intellectual bankruptcy, advocating a colorblind ideology that defies reason. This stance, rooted in a faux moral purity, blinds adherents to observable patterns, such as employment data showing a rise in black hiring against a decline in white representation in certain sectors, often through targeted firings to meet diversity quotas. Other races wield racism strategically against whites, a fact Rose ignores in his delusional crusade, revealing his lack of historical perspective on race relations. Rose's complicity deepens with his role during the COVID-19 pandemic, where he parroted CDC and WHO directives from March 2020, flooding KFAB with vaccine and mask propaganda alongside Saddlemeyer. This alignment with a narrative many now see as a corporate-engineered hoax designed to profit iHeartMedia's investors casts Rose as a willing accomplice in a scheme that disproportionately harmed white communities. His rare quips about lockdown burdens, such as a May 2020 lament on small business closures, were token gestures, overshadowed by his complicity in a system that elevated corporate interests over local welfare. The on-air partnership with Saddlemeyer further tarnishes Rose's image. Their laughter over child welfare issues, documented across multiple broadcasts, exposing a callous disregard that mirrors his racial posturing. This behavior, paired with his bombastic style, brands him a fraud, a pseudo-intellectual who exploits social rhetoric to elevate himself. Rose's misuse of racism as a weapon against whites, including historical figures and everyday individuals, lacks any grasp of its historical evolution. Race has always shaped human interaction, through tribal conflicts, colonial expansions, and modern demographic shifts, reflecting real differences that defy uniformity. Yet, Rose vilifies this reality, punishing reputations without context, driven by a delusional belief in his moral ascendancy. Society is shifting. White people, recognizing discrimination from other races, and anti-racist whites like Rose, are embracing self-interest. This awakening exposes Rose as a white race traitor, a sick, deranged figure whose long history of anti-white racism, abusing his platform to harm others, marks him as a phony. As listener apathy grows and alternative voices rise, Nebraska demands broadcasters who reflect truth, not corporate delusions. The tide is turning. Rose and his ilk's fraudulent legacy faces a reckoning with race reality they cannot escape.